Greetings and salutations. It's another edition of Conversation with Cornelius. I'm your host, Cornelius Romero to my left, Glenn is to my right. We say what's going on, y'all. We at the illustrious Tennessee State downtown campus. I said TSU downtown campus, so it's not 3500 John Merritt Boulevard. What's the actual address down here?
301
301 what? 301 what?
10,
Pass-
10th Avenue. 330 10th Avenue.
330 10th Avenue.
Pastor, come sit right there, right fast, so we can talk about what's to come on the one of the greatest opportunities that we will have to discuss theological rhetoric and I guess contemporary culture. Like, I mean, we talking, you at a different space and place in your life where you still want to educate the masses. So what have you come up with to engage yourself in your growth plan?
Well, anytime you go to a college setting, it's more than just growing knowledge inside of books and growing knowledge from your professor, but you also grow knowledge from the surrounding individuals. You actually get to meet people where they are in their life. And it's not just a group of individuals like high school. We was always peers were the same ones, and our students were the same ones, same age. Nowadays, age range from 18 to 80. So it depends.
18 to 80.
So it's different. It's a different world out here. Not only that, but different cultures.
Yes, sir.
Different cultures, and
You say East Nash, North
Yeah.
Nash, Vado.
yeah, all the
Ain't
above.
none of that.
No.
When you get to college, it's a different animal, a different beast, and I'm grateful for that. Well, listen, y'all, Pastor Glenn is ready to step into a whole nother arena and realm as it relates to biblical instruction. What's on your mind?
I'm getting ready to begin a podcast called "Stepped into the Word" with Stephen.
Listen at you.
Yeah, step to the Word. Yes.
Stephen, in the book of Acts, he got stoned.
Yeah. Well, he got stoned.
So you know what it's like to get stoned, don't you?
Man, I know like to get stoned. I know it like Peter said, like with Peter, man, when Satan desired to sift him, I know what it feels like to be sifted.
Okay.
Well, but the good thing
And we'll
about
talk
being
about
sifted
that too, though.
is that I got somebody who prayed for me.
Ah,
And because he prayed for me, and that's why I'm here today. Because-
strengthen thy brethren.
Yes. Yeah.
Just strengthen the brethren. So tell us, I know you've developed a whole new thought process on the other side. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts? I know you have them charted on some paper or the phone. Would you please share with the audience?
Yeah, well,
That's what it looks like.
it's basically an online community dedicated to unpacking God's word.
Pause, an online community dedicated to unpacking God's word. So we're going to be eisegetical.
Yes.
Eisegetical?
Eisegetical.
Exegetical or eisegetical?
No. Eisegetical is not something that I am a fan of. I once read one day before this restaurant, it's burnt up. It burnt up for 21st. It burnt up for a reason. When we was there, we was reading, and I learned the definition that eisegetical and exegetical. Exegetical is digging into God's word deeper, but eisegetical is piss poor exegetical.
Into Jesus.
Yeah. So no, it's just hilarious, man. When you study the gospel. As a matter of fact, I believe we was eating hot wings
And baked beans.
and baked beans.
What was the name of that restaurant? I can't even remember.
I don't know.
I just know.
All I know is
The book was though. I think it was. What was the name of the book we was reading that day? I can't even think.
I know the book I read that day.
Which one?
It was Matthew. It was Mark.
Oh, we know the Bible,
Yeah.
man.
But that's the only book we've ever discussed there. When we got there, most of our sermon, matter of fact, all of our sermon was written on a napkin.
Yeah, that's all we had.
That's all we had.
I said, Glenn, you got to write that on the napkin.
It wasn't no tablets. There was no
Scroll.
Man, it
no
was not.
parchment,
Man, it was
no
man.
iPad.
Matter of fact, I never forget. I asked the lady if I could use her ink pen, and I took one of the napkins, wiped my mouth with it, and wrote a full sermon down.
I'm trying to think, man. The art of preaching and contextual. It was a great book we was reading. But wasn't it great, like charcoal gray? It was something that had to do with preaching.
I know the author was dead.
Something. No, that one. One of them was the.
Yeah.
He had graduated to glory.
Yes.
He had graduated.
Them
But
the
other
best
one-
books.
Yeah, you love that. He likes that stuff, yeah. He really likes being with individuals who've graduated to glory.
You know,
I'm cool with it. I am.
people like Martin Luther, people like John Calvin.
Tell us more about him. What do
Oh,
you know
John
about-
Calvin. Yeah, we don't have enough time,
What-
in a day.
I think you got like 5 points you could
Yeah.
reference.
Matter of fact, John Calvin, he was the founder of this piece called the tulip, the Calvin flower. And tulip is an acronym for total deprived,
Okay.
unconditional election, limited atonement, irresistible grace, and preservation for the saints. I
Okay.
mean, and to me, that's the best flower of it all. But John, he's no longer with us, but John is one who preached 5 or 6 sermons daily.
John Calvin.
John. Well, no, to me, that's Johnny Boy. We have a different relationship.
You got him on a nickname basis.
Man, Johnny, man. He's the only preacher I know who was exiled
From his church.
from his church
Yeah.
for preaching exegetical,
Messages.
line upon line,
Right.
precept upon precept.
And when they brought him back,
But when they brought him back,
he picked up.
Doc, do you know what he did? He picked up right where he left off. The next verse.
But that's how you learn the Bible.
That's the only way to learn the Bible.
Man, you can't learn the Bible preaching in Exodus this way, week, and then John, then Psalms. I don't know, things come up situational, like what happened yesterday at church.
Yes.
There's situation things that you have to fill in, but you and I and other preachers that follow the same vein that we are in, we are very expositional, and we believe line must be upon line,
Precept.
must be upon precept.
Here,
A little,
there,
a little.
a little. So, hopping around the Bible just to make it fit your conversation or to fit your social status.
That's exegesis.
Yeah, that's not how you preach, in order to understand.
It's not the best of the best practice.
No, in order to understand John 2, you need to read John 1.
50
Before
times.
you preach John 5, you need to have already preached John 4, John 3, John 2, and John 1 after reading it 50 times. So
But you know what? Realistically, because you're from the Gen Z X M type. Can you read something? I know you can, but the discipline it takes to read a book of the Bible 50 times before you preach from it, like, where do you begin? Case in point, if Romero says, I'm going to preach through the book of Peter, some small 5 chapters. Does he say he's going to preach that in August? Or is it August of 25 or February of 26? Because he got to read it 50 times, man.
I wouldn't even tell nobody I'm going to preach through something I haven't read.
But it's just our conversation. Yeah.
Well, but just read, for instance, if I read it and it's now March or April, just January, February, March, we're in March.
April.
I wouldn't dare begin to preach through it and at least until June, because I'm gonna have to read the book.
Any book or just that book?
Just that small book. I'm gonna have to at least read it 50 times. And then after I read it 50 times, then I need to study the culture. Then I need to study the geographical part of it, the land of it. I need
Theological.
Then I need to study the author.
The history.
And before I can even engage in it and then begin to teach. So that way I remove it from being on the tablet and place it on the table. So when I stand up to read, I don't have to have the book open because I know what it says.
And I used to think that was a sign of arrogance when I saw old preachers do that. But they've read it so much. They know where the commas are. You know what I'm saying? Semicolon.
Semicolon. That means
A. Lewis
pause
Patterson.
for a while.
A. Lewis Patterson, right out of Texas, was phenomenal with that. He could just do that. He could pick up the book, 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 3 and 4, and say, "Hey, Miss Sally," and start talking. Pause. Keep going. And right here should be an apostrophe.
Man.
Because he read the Bible that much.
But that's those who study to show their self-approval unto God.
Word we needed not be what?
Ashamed.
Rightly divided the what?
Word of truth. So I mean, it's necessary, because when you start to study the Bible like that, you spend less time clicheing the membership to death.
What do you mean by cliche?
Clicheing the membership to death. I've seen it growing up in my times, and I'm not knocking it.
No, we
because
came from a church
that's how we
that had
grew up.
rhythm.
Yeah.
I call it verbal rhythm.
Yeah, when you tell somebody, right in, right out, step in, step out, pulling off,
Putting on
pulling on.
as soon as.
Yeah, my feet strike Zion. I mean, those were great things, and they got us through
It was
at
rhythmic.
that time.
It was rhythmic.
But now you need to tell me, well, what does right in and right out mean?
Yeah, Roman knows that has no
Yeah.
concept.
My daughter, when I tell her pulling off and pulling on, the first thing she wants to do is let me know, hey, the clothes I have on fits perfectly well. So,
Daddy, we gotta we got a strip in church.
yeah.
But
So-
you have a sermon about being in love with a stripper.
Oh my God,
We're not
yes.
gonna talk about that.
But I am in love with a stripper.
You
know,
it's
John
not
the Baptist lost his head because a king was in love with a stripper.
my.
But I'm in love with a stripper for different reasons.
Right.
And before those who are looking at this and you're saying like, man, Pastor Glenn's in love with a stripper. Yes, I am. And I tell you 3 reasons why I'm in love with a stripper. The first reason why I'm in love with a stripper is because in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord. He was high and lifted and his train filled the temple. So therefore, if he had on a train that signified his glory up in heaven, he had to pull off glory in order to put on a body called flesh. And the first time he stripped, that means he came to see me. The second time he stripped,
Slow down. I need to chew on it. I gotta chew.
see, you're chewing. I've already done swallowed and shouted now. You know what I'm saying? I have to digest this. And the second time he stripped when he was at the table,
Listen.
at the feast of the Passover, when he rose from supper, laid aside his garment, took a towel, and girded himself. So he pulled off what signified him as Rabboni, this
Yeah.
great teacher,
Uh-huh.
and he became a servant. He became
Okay.
a slave.
John 13.
And he did that to teach me
John
that a
13.
servant is no greater
Than his master.
and neither is him no greater than he who has sent him. So
Yeah.
therefore, the first time he stripped was to see me. The second time he stripped
Serve.
was to teach me
Serve.
that we're no better than each other, regardless of who you are and
Uh-huh.
who I am.
And the third time.
And the third time he stripped
My
was
God.
the best time of all. They say that Peter ran to the tomb when he got word that he is risen. And the beloved disciple outran him but couldn't go in because he was still hurt. But when he looked inside, his garments were there, but he wasn't. He had already stripped. So the first time he stripped was to see me. The second time he stripped was to teach me.
Serve.
The third time he stripped was to save a wretched like me.
Save
And
me.
so I'm in love with a stripper. So
Listen.
I preached that sermon, man. Oh my God.
So you preached all of that in one sermon?
No, it took series to teach that. You
All
just
right, 'cause
certain stuff you just can't
you just threw all
unpack.
that at me, and I'm tripping.
And it's a lot.
I'm tripping. I'm trying to figure out what you said because you said you're gonna bring this to the podcast, which will be on the Alana and Cornelius show.
Yes.
It'll be here, Conversation with Cornelius, but then yours will be called what again?
Stepped into the gospel with Stephen. And when you step into the gospel with Stephen, and the reason why I teach in series, it's difficult for me, it may not be for others, but it's difficult for me to teach 10 to 15 scriptures in one setting. There's a lot to chew on in just one verse. In some verses, the 3 words, it's a lot to chew on.
My.
A lot to chew on. So I like to do things in series so that we can take our time and engage. And we'll have 10-minute segments on YouTube, and then with the podcast, and also with when we come together.
The Zoom
And just
the community.
Yeah, when we come together,
That
Zoom,
community.
community,
That community.
you're able to talk to me, and I can talk to you.
Yeah, it's teaching.
Yeah, so now we have question and answers from the community, so that we can engage in the text together.
Okay, now that you have to still assume a lot of the teaching responsibilities at Ephesians now, and this will fit into some of the teaching responsibilities at Ephesians. So now we can have a Wednesday night Bible study, maybe a Friday night Bible study in Zoom or something.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. And the Wednesday would all be,
that'd be in house.
yeah.
But your Zoom,
Yeah. Even though my ministry branches out
Yeah.
into the community, I still have to take care of home.
right.
Still have to take care of home. So, and that's a nugget for all of those who are listening. A lot of us have ministries that are outside of your church, but remember, charity starts at home. So I still spend that time to be able to teach at home and to be able to share my gifts and my knowledge at Ephesians under the leadership of Dr. Cornelius Hill. But at the same token, exercising my gift in the streets.
Well, and one of the things we'll be talking about on your podcast, and I can't wait, is when when shaking the dust from your feet is not condemning, but more confirming that you've served your purpose and your time, and it's time to go. And I have a whole little packet that we're going to work through because I've shaken the dust, you've shaken the dust, and we have to put that in perspective that it's okay to exit ministry in that place.
Yes,
It's okay.
it is.
And how to heal from that.
It is. It is.
And
Even
sometimes the coppersmiths. We got to talk about the coppersmiths.
yeah,
We got,
because Alexander, we do know that in scripture, Alexander the coppersmith done with one person much.
he batting 1,000. Boy, he batting 1,000. He batting 1,000 today. He batting 1,000 today.
It's hard.
He batting-
Yeah, remember he is exercising his ministry in this place. He is sharing. He is sharing the gospel. He is sharing nothing but love.
We better get out here.
He's forsaken your function. What happened to John? You know, he's supposed to be produced. Tell him to come back and bring paper and bring in Mark with him.
He's forsaken. Look, Romero's supposed to be doing something. He up running, walking around. Look, he behind us now. But anyway, y'all, look, we getting off of here. We just want to. We had a good time. I cannot wait.
Yeah, yeah.
Y'all get ready.
Somebody's going to battle tomorrow.
Yeah, somebody's front line.
Somebody's front.
You're right.
Front line.
You're right. He said something. He said, Uriah?
Oh my God! It is so good to get together, man.
Yeah,
Have
just
fun.
It's clown. We clown.
Yeah, just to have fun in the gospel.
We clowning, man. I'm getting off here.
It is what it is.
Listen, y'all. Possibly next Friday.
Yes.
Is it not this Friday?
No, not this Friday.
But next Friday.
Next Friday we will be
probably
up and
be
running.
Zoom.
Yes.
Reverend.
Yes.
Being a Zoom. Yeah, we'll be in Zoom next Friday. Possibly. And then your food truck. We gotta get your food truck back on the ground because Peter was a fisherman.
Yes. You
So we
know,
gotta wait. Can we
people
get
don't pay tithes no more. They just tip the Lord.
well that's okay.
So, you
I don't
know, you
think
have to
there
have-
was a time.
Yeah. So you have to have.
Multiple streams.
Yeah, you do. You got to have
Multiple
education,
streams.
but also got to have a job out here. Yeah, you
yeah.
got to have a job.
Well Peter was, but it's okay.
Yeah. Tent maker.
Yeah. Paul.
Paul was a
Yeah,
tent maker.
yeah, Peter was a
Peter was a fisherman.
in John 21.
Peter was a fisherman and a fighter. It's two
Yeah.
different things.
Yeah.
Peter had multiple jobs.
We had multiple. Hey, y'all, we getting off here. We thank y'all for tuning in to the conversation with Cornelius. My mama said, hello, sons. Mama, we at TSU. We at the downtown campus. There's a collaborative experience now with using, what's that, smart technology. What is it, Romero? The smart lab? What are we using?
It's a smart lab
Yeah.
downstairs. TSU downtown campus have a smart lab that you can come down here. You can use to exercise your gift and also to broaden your horizon into the electronic world.
Where you go to school?
Oh yeah. I'm an alumni. I'm TSU.
You trying to come across.
I'm trying to come through. Education. Education doesn't matter how old you are. We're never too old to stop learning. So you can come down here and begin a new career in
Learn,
social media. And you come downstairs. Here. There's libraries, there's food, there's fun, but most of all, there's love and education here on the downtown campus.
Sir.
So
That's where we are today.
By all means,
This
by all
week,
means.
they're actually doing an HBCU app challenge. We were going to be in the lab using the laboratory for the podcast. So we came upstairs into the oval forum. The HBCU app challenge, we are grateful that TSU is hosting that. We will hopefully by the end of the week find out all the apps that have been developed here through the HBCU experience, through the coding, so that, look, my mama talking about go find who? Robbie Milton. Okay, I found her. I'm excited, y'all.
hey, Mama Cameron, how you doing? How you
Look,
doing?
we are excited. I'm sorry, mama, but we are excited. We getting off here. We about to eat tonight. We got to be at Burns Tabernacle tonight, right?
Here's Burns Tabernacle for the Sunday School
School convention.
Convention, yes.
What's coming up in May?
I do know that Kentucky has association that's beginning down there, and down in Kentucky. A lot of associations are getting ready to start beginning now.
Well, anyway, we'll talk about that
Yeah,
later.
it's just
Hey, TSU Big Blue 3500 John Merritt Boulevard, and I forgot the downtown campus. But we hear y'all. We'll be back. You doing a podcast with Yolanda later on today?
yes.
What time do you know?
We're probably doing about another 2 more hours.
Where y'all gonna be?
I believe it's going to be online. Just going to be
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to be video or not.
Okay, we'll figure that out. But listen, thank y'all for tuning in. We're downtown. She said, I'm good. I know you good, mama. Mama, Mama, we eating Easter at y'all? Oh, having Easter at your house? Where Easter dinner gonna be? All right, we getting off here. Thank you for tuning in. I'm just joking, y'all. Hey, it's been fun. It's been real. It's a marvelous Monday. Peace and blessings.